here. This is parts of Bland County, northern Bland County, and into Mercer County. And in fact, the rotation is just southeast of Bluefield right now. We're seeing that strong signature here just to the southeast of Bluefield, which is why the National Weather Center over in Blacksburg, Virginia, issued a tornado warning. This will be for the northern parts of Bland County and into Mercer County. It does include the city of Bluefield and Princeton, so keep that in mind. I know a lot of you viewers are probably having dinner right now, or maybe just doing some errands right now. But again, if you are tuning in right now, we have a tornado warning in effect for Mercer County and northern Bland County in the extreme eastern section of Tazewell County. Let's get right to it here. There's that rotation. This is coming in from the Doppler radar site coming out of Blacksburg, Virginia. You can see we got the strong wind signature here. In fact, there's our studio right there. In fact, we're probably seeing some of that strong winds right now over our studios right now. Hopefully, if you're in this area, I know for us, we are monitoring the situation closely in case we do need to take cover here at the stations as well. Of course, we got this rotation here just really over toward the southern section of Mercer County right now as it continues to move to the north and east. Let me just give you a couple of information where we're seeing right now within this. Again, this is a tornado warning until 8:30 p.m. For east central Tazewell County, north central Bland County, and southwestern Mercer County until 8:30 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was producing a possible tornado located over Clear Fork or near Bluefield, moving to the north at 25 miles per hour. Again, this is radar indicated rotation. Again, impacts of location would be Bluefield, Princeton, Matoka, Clear Fork, Montcalm, and Kegley. So keep that in mind if you are in this area. Again, we are under a tornado warning until 8:30 p.m. I'm keeping an eye on this situation right now. Me and meteorologist Jeffrey Hull are on the scene right now, keeping an eye on this storm right now for you guys here. I'm going to zoom it back out here. There's that, we got some strong winds here, pretty much showing up right near our studio, actually. Let me see if we can get some of the wind data here, and we can see what's going on around here. And it looks like right near our studios here, we're getting anywhere about maybe a 40 to 45 mile per hour winds going outbound. So we're seeing some strong winds outbound, lighter winds on the inbound side, but still enough to cause some of that rotation around the area. Again, if you are just joining us, we have a tornado warning in effect. That does include parts of Bland County, Tazewell County, and Mercer County, southwestern Mercer County. So there is that signature right now. I'm going to switch to the debris signature to see if we are seeing anything within this. And the good news is, at least within that cell, we're not seeing anything being lofted into the atmosphere in terms of debris. So that's some good news there. But again, there's that signature we're seeing right now to the southeast of Bluefield. Let's see, it's continuing to move to the northeast at roughly 25 miles per hour. So let's put a storm track on this for you guys at a 25 mile per hour to the northeast. And that will take it by Edison at 8:11 roughly. Again, these are just time estimates. Don't take the exact time for what these times are saying, so it'll give like plus or minus a few minutes. 8:24 by Princeton, Athens at 8:38, Lorona at 8:51, and then if this rotation holds together, it'll be at flat top at the top of the hour of 9 o'clock here. Again, if you are just joining us this evening, maybe you are coming back from dinner or coming back from that drive from the rain, there is a tornado warning in effect for Mercer County, the eastern section of Tazewell County, and northern Bland County, and this will go into effect until 8:30 p.m. We have seen signature on radar of at least some rotation signature. I'm going to toss it over to meteorologist Jeffrey Hull, who's back in the studios with us, tracking this latest rotation for us. Jeffrey?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tim. So we have this rotation signature that's just around the Bluefield area, heading northeast into parts of central Mercer County. If you are in Mercer County, head to your safe space immediately. This rotation signature was first noted in parts of Bland County, moving through the mountains, and we've kept an eye on this over the last hour or so, or the last few minutes, I should say. And you can see right now the center of that circulation is going to be just east of the Bluefield area. That's going to be near the I-77 interchange where you're heading on to 460. Right now, as that heads off towards the north and east, Princeton is going to be in that tornado warning. So if you are in the Princeton area, make sure to head to your safe spot. Now, of course, it is raining very heavily outside. In fact, this system looks to be right over the station just now, and I poked my head outside the door, and it is, in fact, coming down extremely hard. We are going to be looking at some damaging winds from this system to be possible over the next several minutes. So once again, if you are not in your safe space, it's a good idea to get to it as soon as possible. And if you have anyone traveling out and about, maybe coming back from dinner, let them know of this as well. As we take a look at the velocity, getting a little closer look, you can see those outbound winds from the radar are very strong looking. Thankfully, it looks like the inbound winds have receded just a little bit, but still enough to indicate some weaker rotation towards the eastern half of Bluefield. And that's going to be moving northward towards parts of Edison, tracing the 460 as we head into Princeton. Now, this system, once again, going to be moving off towards the northeast, and it looks to be holding on to its rotation for at least the next little while. You can see sort of the cone of arrival. Edison, you guys are going to be looking at about 6:13, so within the next 10 minutes or less. So make sure to get to your safe space. Maple Acre, you guys are on deck after that at about 8:17. And then into Princeton, looks like about an 8:45 arrival time if it holds this speed. And of course, we're going to continue to keep track of this. And if you need to head to your safe location, which is going to be in a basement, and if you don't have a basement, somewhere away from windows and walls. And the centralmost part of your house is one of the places where you can stay the safest. Maybe find a mattress or a helmet, put it over yourself, protect your head. Because with damaging winds like this, they can throw all sorts of trees. Not to mention the heavy rainfall. If you're out on the roads, you don't want to be caught in a system like this. So head inside if you can, if you haven't already. Of course, this tornado warning continuing on. Tim, I'll send things back over to you.
Hey, thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, this tornado warning continues until 8:30 p.m. Again, this is for the northern section of Bland County, eastern section of Tazewell County, and the south central Mercer County. This will go in effect until 8:30 p.m. We're continuing to see the heaviest of the rain begin to move in, and we've been hearing some of the gusts around our studios right now as this line continues to push to the north and east at roughly 20 to 25 miles per hour here. Again, if you're just joining us here, you're probably caught off guard. There is a tornado warning for the area. Your phones probably alerted you off of the tornado warning. You're on seek shelter right now. Head to the rooms where there's no windows, the closet, the basement if your house has a basement, but I know a lot of houses don't have basements around the area. So again, you want to get to the interior part of the room away from the windows to protect yourself. Again, there is a tornado warning that was issued until 8:30 p.m. for the viewing area, which includes our studios as well. So we're continuing to keep an eye on this heavier downpour, heavier thunderstorm that continues to move to the north and the east. I'm going to switch back to the velocity data so we can see what's going on across the area. And let's zoom back in towards our area here. And of course, there's that velocity data. This data is coming out of Charleston, so you can see the strong winds here for the inbound winds because it's going towards the Charleston radar. But let me turn on the Roanoke data here. You can see there's that circulation. Still got some strong winds going outbound, but the inbound winds is still there, but it's not as strong, but there's still got some rotation out there just to the southwest of Edison, as this whole line continues to push to the north and the east. Again, we've been keeping an eye on this cell. In fact, this cell showed up a little bit of a raw rotation coming out of Bland County, and then by the time it entered Mercer County, that's when the warning was triggered for the area. So we'll continue to watching this one right now for the possibility of a tornado touching down here. Now, course, with us being so far away from the Blacksburg radar, it's kind of hard to tell whether or not we're seeing a tornado on the ground right now. But we have been hearing some howling winds out of our studios as it's kind of bypassed to our north, and now it's kind of crossing, it crossed pretty much. About to cross Highway 123, and there's Highway 52, and there's Highway 19. And you can see this rotation on radar. It continues to move to the north and the east at roughly 20 to 25 miles per hour here. I'm going to zoom back out here, and if you're in the Princeton area, hopefully you are keeping an eye on this storm as well, and also seeking shelter because this storm is continuing to push to the north and east. And it's probably hard to tell if this is a tornado because there's some strong winds with it, but also rain-wrapped winds. So it's very hard to tell whether or not this could be a tornado on the ground right now. Of course, we haven't really seen any confirmation reports as of right now, but of course, this is something we'll keep an eye on as it continues to cross to the north and the east, and really for most of Mercer County. Again, this tornado warning will continue until 8:30 p.m. We're watching the latest radar scans, sweeps coming on in. We still got some of that strong winds here, about to approach that Highway 20 corridor. And then eventually, if it holds together, it'll be entering the Princeton area. So keep that in mind. If you guys are watching from Princeton, hopefully you are seeking shelter away from the windows because this is about to head towards your area. And it looks like the National Weather Service just kind of shrunk this warning to exclude or just to take out Blaine County and Tazewell County, but still into Mercer County as of right now. Jeffrey?
Yeah, thanks, Tim. So as this will continue to move off towards the north, we are going to be seeing some heavy downpours along with the possibility for some hail, in addition to possible wind damage. Now, there is a lot of strong wind, whether or not we actually have rotation or on-the-ground tornado with this system. Right now, all of this rotation is just radar indicated, so we don't have actual confirmation that it's made any sort of touchdown. But if you look at the velocity, this is going to be the direction and speed the winds are going to and from the radar site. So you can see this this lighter red, that's going to be some very strong winds heading away from the radar, and then this green is going to be winds heading towards the radar. So whenever you have winds going one way and winds going another way, you're going to have a little bit of spin in between, and that's sort of that rotation signature. Now, it's going to be just off towards the north and east of Bluefield. If you're in Edison, you're likely seeing some very strong winds right now. If anything, head to your safe space just in case. This system looks to track more towards the north-northeast, but still with a little bit of an easterly aspect to it. So if you're over in Princeton, you're not out of the woods, you are still in the tornado warning, so make sure to get to your safe space just in case. Now, we'll continue to see this storm, of course, move towards the north. Whether or not it'll hold on to its rotation still remains to be seen. But as of right now, this tornado warning goes until 8:30 p.m. here in Bluefield and the surrounding areas here in Mercer County. You can see the arrival time for Princeton is going to be about 8:26 with 8:45 the Speedway area. So if you guys are in Speedway, you're not actually in the tornado warning, but that doesn't mean you're out of the woods. If it holds on to this rotation, which is a lot of the storms seem to be doing tonight, we could see this tornado warning expanded into certain counties. Now, thankfully, that rotation not looking quite as tight as it was earlier. Whenever I was back at home keeping an eye on radar, it looked pretty tight, and that's why I slipped on my clothes and headed to work straight away. Thankfully, it has seemed to weaken just a little bit, got a little bit broader, but we're still seeing the possibility of some spin. Now, if you are in the path of the storm, you want to make sure to head to your safe space. That's going to be away from windows, somewhere in the interior spots of your house, because you want to protect yourself above anything. And if you're by windows and debris happens to fly through that window and shatters the glass, that's not going to be good for you. You want to be staying away from that as much as you can. So if you have a basement, that's going to be one of the safest spots you can go in a situation like this. But if you don't, an interior building like a closet or a bathroom are usually one of the better aspects. Now, looking at velocity one more time, you can see we are holding on to that rotation. As long as we have that green next to that red, that's at least some sort of indicator that we've got a little bit of spin going on. And once again, it is trekking off towards the north. If you're in Maple Acre, get in your safe space right away, because this system looks to be traveling right along 19. And as it heads towards north in Princeton, we'll continue to see the possibility for damaging winds and, of course, lots of debris. Tim?
Yeah, that's right, Jeffrey. This rotation is generally moving to the northeast. So Princeton, it might just be to your west, but I don't want to kind of let your guard down because this could still change direction just a little bit, like we've been seeing some of these rotation storms earlier this afternoon, where it looks like it's moving to the northeast, but kind of moved to the northwest and then back to the northeast. So keep that in mind. You want to seek shelter immediately here. We're continue to look at our velocity data here. We got some strong winds going outbound here. The inbound winds, they're still there, but not as strong as the outbound winds. But there's likely something going on here that's trying to form, but again, we're still looking to see if there's any ground reports of any touchdown or anything like that. But right now, this is what we're seeing right now, right around Maple Acres, seeing that rotation right now as it continues to move to the north and east. So that's the velocity data here. I want to show you the Doppler radar, see what we're actually seeing right now in terms of precipitation-wise, rainfall-wise. And the rain will probably make it harder to tell what's actually going on here. In fact, this is still holding on to Pocahontas County. We'll go back into the tornado warning storm here. This is for Mercer County here. And let's see, it looks like we just got a flash flood warning also for Mercer County as well. So a lot of torrential downpours here. Again, there could be some strong winds within this cell, some very heavy rainfall. We could quickly see about 1 inch or 2 inches of rain very quickly here. And with more rain to the south and west, this will likely continue to usher in a lot of that moisture. And of course, those streams, those rivers, they're going to start to rise pretty quickly. And the concern for tonight, I'm heard from some of our news anchors and reporters that we're already starting to see reports of some flooding here in parts of our area here. So this will likely continue to get worse as we head toward the rest of the overnight hours because we still got more rain on the way. Again, we still got this warning effect. The tornado possibility, or the rotation at least, is right in here, just to the northwest of Edison right now. And this is continuing to track to the north and east. And again, it could be very hard to tell just because one is at night and two, there's a lot of heavy rain with it. So you might see those rain coming in from an angle and not know if it's a tornado right in front of you. That's how hard it is to see the conditions right now, just because it's dark a lot earlier now. And of course, the rain continues to pummel really visibility conditions. So this whole system continues to push to the north and east. So heads up, Princeton, you'll probably see some gusty winds and also some very torrential rainfall, if not right now, within the next couple of minutes here. Right now. Let's go to the velocity data here. I'm going to switch back to the velocity data for you. And of course, we're going to continue to track the rotation. I'm still seeing some of that strong winds, at least outbound winds, and that there still is some inbound winds as they continue to approach the Highway 20 corridor. North of Maple Acre, that's where we're starting to see some of that rotation. So I'm keeping an eye on this very closely because it's about to cross, looks like, the State Highway 20 as it lifts to the north and east at roughly 20 to 25 miles per hour. And so we'll be monitoring this because it's going to be very close here, whether or not it's going to impact the downtown area of Princeton here. It might just be just to the west, but of course, you want to stay vigilant to this because this is going to continue to bring some gusty winds, at least within the area. So if you're just joining us, if your phones went off, you probably are wondering what's going on. There's a tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service from Blacksburg, Virginia. They issued a tornado warning because of this rotation that actually started off in Bland County as a weak rotation, then starting to get itself together as it head to the north towards the state line. And now we're starting to see some of that rotation kind of get a little bit stronger, at least on the outbound wind side. There is some inbound winds as well. But again, it's kind of hard to tell whether or not this is tying up just because the rotation itself or the radar beam itself is very far away in Blacksburg, Virginia. So it's shooting at a higher angle. So because of that higher angle, we get some sort of idea of what's going on. But whether or not there's something on the ground, it still remains to be seen at this time. Of course, I'm always checking back in to see if there's any storm reports. If you guys have any storm reports, number one, make sure you're safe first, because safety is the main concern for you, and of course, for us as well. We want you to be safe in your safe zone in your home. Number two, once the storm passed on by, if you are able to see any, damages around your area, do send it a picture or video to us here on our website at WVVA.com. Of course, again, we're continuing to watch this one. This is the rotation. It's slowly crossing Highway 20 right now to the north and the east. So it's just to the west of Princeton right now. Let me put a one loop here. You can see what's going on here. You can see that rotation. I'm going to zoom it out here so we can see how this all originated here. It kind of started over in, you saw it very quickly here. I'm going to kind of slow it down for you guys here, but we're going to go back in time here. But you can see what's going on here. We saw a brief rotation starting to spin up over in, there it is. There is like western Bland County, and then eventually it starts to move northward where it starts to get a little bit more tighter in circulation, and then the winds, at least outbound winds, start to pick up and then enter Mercer County, where that's where the warning was triggered for the areas. Meteorologist Jeffrey Hull has an update on this rotation. Jeffrey, what do you see?
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Great analysis there. We saw the rotation, as Tim just explained, moving from parts of Bland into Mercer County, and we're continuing to watch for this system because, all things considered, it's held on to that rotation pretty nicely, even if it looks to have weakened just a little bit on the inbound side. Now, right now, that system is just west of Princeton. That's where the center of that possible rotation is, and it's going to continue to head off towards the north. Now, once again, this tornado warning continues until 8:30 tonight. So it still remains to be seen whether or not another one will be issued, but with this radar signature, I think it's possible we can certainly see a bit of an extension. So right now, if you are north of Princeton, you want to make sure to be prepared over in Eads Mill, just north of I-77, because things are continuing to move upward. Now, thankfully, over towards the Athens area, you guys are a little bit farther west, so it's not quite going to hit you in the bullseye, but it is possible that if this system continues to trek up to the north, it is a possibility, of course. And if you're just joining us, this tornado warning issued for parts of central and south Mercer County right now has held on to a good bit of rotation since it exited Bland County only a few short minutes ago. As it continues to trek up to the north, we're going to watch for the possibility of this system. Now, of course, it is dark outside, so you're not going to be seeing this storm, but you might hear that heavy rain start to pick up. But don't wait until you hear it. Head to that safe space as soon as you can. Now, once again, this is velocity, which shows the speed and the direction of the winds. And the red is going to be the winds moving away from the radar site, and the green moves towards. Whenever you got winds going two different directions, in the middle there's going to be a little bit of circulation, and that's what that radar signature is just west of Princeton. Now, we're going to be looking at heavy rainfall associated with this, and hail is a possibility as well, because this storm is sort of packing a little bit of a punch, dropping a good bit of rainfall across the region. Now, once again, this is going to be heading northward along parts of I-10, it looks like, or Route 10, and as it continues to move up towards the north, near Kegley, you guys are in the range of this system as it moves to the north, still holding on to a good bit of that rotation. So if you're in Kegley, head to that safe space right away, just in case. Gardner, you guys are going to be in the vicinity of this system as well if it holds on to that rotation enough to be considered an extended tornado warning. Tim, I'll send things back over to you.
Yeah, Jeffrey, speaking of extended, we just got a new tornado warning. It looks like the National Weather Service is going to put a new tornado warning here for southwestern Summers County and southeastern West Virginia and northeastern Mercer County until 9 p.m. So there's actually a new warning now until 9 o'clock here. So we're waiting for our graphics to actually update here, but there's a new warning here. So southwestern Summers County now and northeastern Mercer County, you're under a tornado warning until 9 p.m. Again, this is the same rotation that we've been tracking ever since, or I would say maybe right around 8 o'clock this evening, and this continues to move to the north and east at roughly 25 miles per hour. Again, this is still radar indicated rotation. We're looking at the reports the issued by the National Weather Service, and so far I have not seen any reports of any confirmed tornado on the ground as of now. But of course, do take precaution here. Again, this is a new tornado warning for southwestern Summers County and southeastern West Virginia, northeastern Mercer County and southeastern West Virginia, and this will go in effect until 9 p.m. It looks like we're just waiting on our graphic system to kind of update on it because it's kind of lagging behind right now. But that is the latest tornado warning, along with this one that's still going into effect till 8:30. So another 6 minutes here, which includes the Princeton and Bluefield area for this tornado warning. But the new tornado warning looks to be included Summers County and then the northeastern section of Mercer County here. All right, so there's that heavy rain band here continuing to push to the north and east, right on top of Princeton right now with some gusty winds as it continues to push to the north and east at roughly 20 to 25 miles per hour. That's been the general speed of these storms for most of the day today. They're moving to the northeast at 20 to 25 miles per hour. They're packing a lot of rainfall here. So with all the winds, gusty winds, there's also a lot of torrential downpours, which is causing some flash flooding in maybe parts of the streams, rivers, creeks. They're rising pretty quickly because we continue to see rainfall over this same areas with some heavier downpours falling over the same areas. So not only we're seeing the tornado warning, which by the way, the tornado threat for today was only at about 2%, but some of these storms managed to connect with the atmosphere, that twist and spin of the atmosphere just a bit, where we're starting to see some of that rotation within the upper parts of the clouds to the lower, to really reaching toward the lower parts of the clouds. So that's why we're continuing to see these quick spin-ups here, and that's what we typically see usually from a tropical system. But can you believe it? This is not really associated from the tropical system Helene just yet. We're just seeing some rainfall coming in from a stall frontal boundary. Even with stall frontal boundary, you got that change in winds here. You got winds coming from one direction, from north of the front to the south of the front. You got winds coming in from another direction, which is why we got that little bit of that twist, just enough to cause, a rotation or trigger a tornado warning here. And that's what we're seeing right now here. Now, looks like maybe our graphic is just kind of slowing down right now in terms of the tornado warning update, because we do have a tornado warning for Mercer County and Summers County as of right now. I'm not really sure why our graphics kind of lagging behind on that, but I do want to give you guys a heads up. Northeastern Mercer County and into southwestern Summers County, you have a tornado warning in effect until 9 p.m. So as we continue to keep an eye on this, let's switch back to the velocity data, and let's show you where this circulation is right now and what's going on. Still pretty much a strong circulation right now, what we're seeing pretty much north of Princeton now. So Princeton, the rotation had just bypassed you to your northwest just a little bit, but now it's to the east of Kegley. Again, there is actually another warning here that's not being shown on our radar right now, but of course, this includes the northeastern section of Mercer County and southwestern Summers County. So I just want to reiterate that even though our graphic is kind of lagging behind right now, there is a warning to the north and east right now. This is for Summers County, southwestern Summers County, and northeastern Mercer County, and that will go in effect until 9 p.m. So you see in our signature, our velocity signature, still got that signature right there here. So we can still got some strong winds outbound, but a couple of winds coming inbound as well. Jeffrey, I'm going to toss it back to you. You have an update on what's going on?
Yeah, so that tornado warning has been extended into parts of southwestern Summers County. It's not popping up on our graphics just yet, but that's going to be just southwest of the Hinton area. So if you guys are in Athens, Athens is included in that tornado warning. It's going to be about as far north as Fairleigh. So if you guys are in Fairleigh, make sure to head to your safe space. Eads Mill, you guys are also in the path of this tornado warning. This one will continue on until about 9 o'clock tonight, and we're watching this rotation rotation signature, which is still staying pretty strong. Right now, that's going to be just east of Kegley, heading into parts of Summers County. Now, once again, this is a tornado warning. If you're just joining us, has been extended to 9 o'clock for parts of northeastern Mercer and southwestern Summers County. Graphics are still catching up as far as where exactly the radar box is, but it's going to be in this vicinity. So if you're in parts of Eads Mill, you're going to be in the vicinity of this new tornado warning. Same with Athens, as this system tracks up towards the north and northeast. We're going to continue to watch this. This initially indicated a bit of rotation in parts of Bland County, passed over the East River Mountain area into the Bluefield region, and of course now trekking through parts of central Mercer County. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this system. Of course, it's dark outside. You're not going to be able to see this tornado, so don't wait until you possibly hear it. Head to your safe space if you are in the vicinity of one of these tornado warnings. Now, once again, this system is going to be moving off towards the north and east, looking at some pretty good rotation. We've got some red on the map along with that green, and whenever you have those two so close together and you're aligned parallel with that radar site, it looks like we could see a bit of wind circulating in between that, leading to some rotation. Now, getting a look at the estimated arrival time, if you're in Speedway, you're looking at about 8:45 as the system treks off towards the northeast. Duns, you guys are about 8:55, and then Fairleigh, it looks like it's going to be a little farther off towards your west, but don't let that deceive you. If you're in the tornado warning, make sure to take shelter. That's going to be arriving there somewhere around 9:02, which this tornado warning does end at about 9 o'clock, but we'll hold on to that rotation. If we do hold on to that rotation, we can see that extended tornado warning, and it's going to continue to trek off to the north across parts of Jumping Branch. Now, if you are in the path of the storm, you want to head to your safe spot, which will be any sort of basement if you have one. If you don't fret, because you can always go to the interior-most place in your house. That'll end up giving you some good cushion from the outside. You want to stay away from windows if you can, so a closet's good, a bathroom's good, or even anywhere inside of your house, maybe a kitchen if you have all four rooms around that kitchen area. Now, you want to make sure to try to protect your head. You want to crouch down, maybe put a mattress above you or a helmet or something to protect your head, because systems like these, they throw debris like no one's business. You can see branches and even pretty sizable trees just smashing through windows, and you don't want to have that happen to you. The glass adds an additional hazard. Now, one thing we're also seeing with this system is lots of heavy rainfall. We've got a flash flood warning in effect for some of our counties due to very high precipitation rates. It's coming down outside. High water has been reported in a lot of spots in Mercer County, especially along College Avenue. So make sure to keep that in mind. If you do see high water and you're driving on the roadways, turn around, don't drown. This is going to be the area of that flash flood warning. Again, not only are we dealing with that possible tornado warning, but also these very heavy rainfall, which does look to persist into the rest of this evening. Right now, the heaviest rain looks to be in parts of Bland County, extending down into parts of southern Tazewell, where this flash flood warning continues. Now, if we do look, that tornado warning has just been updated. Let's take another quick look at that, Tim, as we see the next few locations on this tornado warning. Once again, that's going to be for parts of northeastern Mercer and southwestern Summers County, as we see that tornado warning expanded until 9 p.m. tonight. Tim, I'll let you take it over from here.
Hey, thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, so this is the tornado warning we've been talking about. Our graphics finally updated here, but again, till 9 p.m. This includes northeastern Mercer County and southwestern Summers County here. The storm that we are tracking right now is to the southwest of Eads Mill here. This is the heavy downpours. You can see the heavy downpour extends to the south of Princeton, but the rotational part of the storm is just to the north and east of Kegley. But let me switch back to the velocity data, because this is the part where we track the rotation as it continues to move to the north and the east. And Princeton, you're out of the warning box, so that's the good news for you guys. But again, you can see it's about to cross I-77. So if you know anybody traveling on I-77, right around, let's say, the Gardner area, south of Eads Mill, this rotation is about to cross Interstate 77 right now. Again, we're still looking to see if there's any ground reports of a tornado on the ground, but right now this is just Doppler radar indicated rotation right around the Gardner area right now as it continues to move to the north and east. Again, we've been tracking this one coming out of Bland County earlier this evening, right around 8 o'clock this evening as it continues to move to the north and east. It's a quick spin up. That's some of these what some of these storms are doing today. We didn't see a lot of sunshine today, but there was just enough instability brightening of the skies, despite having the cloud cover, to allow some of these storms to reach to the level where we start to see some of that wind change in the upper levels of the atmosphere to the lower levels of the atmosphere. And that's why we're starting to see some of these minnows right now. Again, the rotation is right over Garner right now, Garner Road. You're seeing probably some gusty winds over in that area. Again, new radar scan is now crossing over, it looks like close to I-77 right now. So really, if there's a lot of vehicles that are traveling through this area right now, you're probably seeing some very howling winds, hearing the howling winds as you travel either north or southbound on 77 right in this general vicinity here. This Mercer Springs Road, we're going to zoom in closer to this so we can see what's going on here. Again, there's Ed's Mill Road, seeing some strong winds right now. Thunder Valley Drive, if you're around that neighborhood, you're seeing some of the strong gusty winds right now. Maybe even a rotating cloud moving through those areas right now. Again, there's Speedway. Might just bypass just to your west, but it's going to be a close call here. Same story for Lorona as this rotation continues to move to the north and the east at roughly 20 to 25 miles per hour. Again, Pipeston Drive, that's the Pipeston area. I know Pipeston Resort State Park, you want to give yourself a heads up there because this rotation is likely headed in your vicinity in that general direction right now. So keep that in mind. I know if there are any campers out there, hopefully they are seeking shelter in a secure building right now because this rotation is continuing to move to the north and east with some heavy downpours and some gusting winds. So hopefully they are taking shelter right now over the Pipeston Resort area because that's definitely important because that you are under part of that tornado warning, which goes into effect until 9 p.m. here. Again, if you're just joining us right now, we had that tornado warning for Mercer County, the southwest central Mercer County. Now that warning has allowed to expire, but the new warning for northeastern Mercer County and southwestern Summers County will continue until 9 p.m. I'm going to toss it back to meteorologist Jeffrey Hull. He has another update.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tim. So, of course, we have been tracking this little rotation signature that's been moving in through parts of Bland County and southern Mercer County. This is, of course, a pretty strong storm just west of the Speedway area, right along I-77 right now. You can see where the green and the red meet. That's going to be sort of the center of that circulation. That's going to continue to trek up into the north and east into parts of southwestern Summers County. Now, Tim, if we can also change the velocity down a little bit towards the southwest, I'm also keeping an eye on a few other signatures down towards parts of the Bluefield area where we're seeing maybe a little bit of weak rotation once again in this spot. You can see sort of the red and the greens, very weak and broad, but it's something to keep in mind, showing us that we're not necessarily out of the woods just yet. There's also another one down in parts of Bland County, keeping an eye on that as well, where we're seeing this is sort of where that rotation signature originated from the currently warned tornado storm. Now let's head back up into parts of northwestern Mercer County and parts of Summers County. We're seeing the active tornado warning. This one goes on until 9 p.m. tonight. If you are in the path of the storm, of course, we can't say it enough, get to your safe spot. Make sure to go down into the basement. And if you don't have a basement, any interior room in your house will work well. And that's going to be a bathroom, any sort of maybe a kitchen or a closet, something away from windows and the outside walls that can keep you safe in case debris comes flying at you. Now, of course, we are going to stay on air until this system dissipates. Right now, it's still looking to hold on to a good bit of that rotation. Maybe not as strong as it was initially, but still looking at some good outbound winds. That's going to be pretty strong nonetheless, whether or not we have any actual touchdown, which it does seem that that system earlier in parts of Greenbrier and Pocahontas County, we have seen a little bit of visual confirmation of funnel clouds and maybe a bit of a touchdown. I know the National Weather Service Charleston was discussing about calling that touchdown for a tornado. So we're going to know more in the coming hours and days, and we'll keep you, of course, updated. But right now, if you're just joining us, this tornado warning in effect for parts of northeastern Mercer County and southwestern Summers County. This goes until 9 o'clock. Right now, the center of this rotation is going to be northwest of Athens. If you're in Athens, you're likely just going to be seeing some strong, heavy rainfall, but still shelter in your safe spot not just in case. Eads Mill, you guys are on deck next. This is going to be crossing I-77 as we speak. And as it does, of course, going to be causing lots of heavy rainfall. We've had flooding reports from all over our DMA. We're looking at high water. Even here in Bluefield, parts of College Avenue have seen that high water. And make sure if you do encounter high water on the roadways, turn around, don't drown. You never know what's underneath that water. The possibility of the road have given out, maybe a sinkhole, of course, maybe some wild animals. Of course, we're not really in Florida, so we don't have to worry about alligators, but that is a concern whenever we have that high water. So turn around, don't drown. Now, of course, this tornado warning going to continue on until this rotation tapers off. Tim, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Hey, thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, so kind of a broad rotation, like you said, Jeffrey. We still got some rotation there as it continues to push to the north and east. But as you mentioned, flooding is pretty much the bigger concern that we've been seeing across our area. In fact, we've been continuing to see that the whole area inundated by heavy rains. And really, those streams, those creeks are starting to rise pretty quickly with rain falling over the same areas within a period of time. I'm going to switch quickly here back to our radar and see the rainfall around the area. Look at this. Even though the tornado warning storm has moved out of the area, we are still seeing some very torrential downpours over the areas, and it's been falling for about several hours now, and those water levels are starting to rise pretty quickly here. In fact, those roadways that tend to pond pretty quickly, you're starting to see those water rise pretty quickly. Your creeks, your streams, I mean, they're rising as well. Again, this flood warning really encompasses parts of Bland County, eastern Tazewell County, and western Mercer County. But you can see back to the west here, we still got more rain here that's continuing to move on into the north and east. So we are not done with this rain after this heavy rain batch number 1 moves through, because we still got a lot of moisture. A lot of this moisture is connected from the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, a stall frontal boundary continues to bring some of this heavy rain band, and it's been falling over the same areas over a period of time, which caused some flash flooding, especially to the south. You see over in North Carolina and in eastern Tennessee, there's a lot of flash flood warning. That's because we continue to see rain falling over the same areas, and that's why we continue to see some of those heavier rain bands here. Now I want to go back to that tornado warning storm, storm. Again, it's still in effect till 9 p.m. This is for northeastern Mercer County and southwestern Summers County. And you can see the storm here. If you look closely by this radar signature, you can kind of see a little bit of that hook shape, just a little bit with that heavier rain, but it's still moving to the northeast overall at 25 miles per hour. But again, hard to confirm there's any tornado on the ground as of right now within this cell. I'm going to switch back to the velocity data for a second here. Of course, the velocity data is what we use to track whether or not we see that strong rotation. And we'll go back to the north here. Still generally broad circulation. We do see some change in winds, though. The outbound winds are a lot stronger than the inbound winds, for sure. But as it continues to push to the north and east, it'll be headed towards parts of Summers County. I'm going to switch over to the debris signature for a bit to see if we see anything kind of stand out within this storm, to let us know if there's anything in terms of debris over in this rotated storm. And you can see not much here. Just to the northwest of Athens. So we're not seeing anything pop up to tell us that there's something going on or something being lofted in the atmosphere in terms of debris. So that's some good news. We're not seeing anything like that. So the rotation is about right in here, but it's a very broad rotation, a very weakening rotation as well as it continues to track to the north and east. So as we continue to keep an eye on this, you want to seek shelter, as we've been mentioning for, earlier this afternoon. Interior rooms, no window, get away from the windows. If you have a basement, that's the best spot to be in. But of course, the winds at least start to weaken just a little bit as they head to the northeast. So Jeffrey, what do you see in terms of where this storm is going?
Yeah, Tim, so I've been keeping a close eye on the rotation signatures in our area. This system, of course, still is tornado warned until 9 o'clock, heading off towards the northeast into parts of southwestern Summers County. So if you're in the path of the storm, of course, you want to take shelter. But I also do want to notice, after we get an idea of where this is going, of another rotation signature. But right now, Jumping Branch going to be about 9:15, so in about half an hour. But Hinton, you guys look to be about 9:22, so it's going to continue to track up towards the north, and we're going to keep a close eye on that. But switching over to Bland County really quickly, where we're keeping an eye on another rotation signature that seems to be tightening a little bit. This is where this currently warned tornado system was initially warned. This one seems to continue to want to spin just a little bit. The rotation's still looking a little iffy, but I have a feeling this one could possibly, if it strengthens, become another tornado warning. We're going to keep a close eye on this one. So if you guys are in Rocky Gap or near Clear Fork, you're going to want to make sure to keep an eye on that and head to your safe space if you can. And of course, as this continues to trek off towards the north, we're going to keep a close eye on this. Heavy rainfall all across our area. We're seeing flooding issues this evening as we see heavy downpours, lots of flooded roadways in parts of Mercer County, College Avenue in particular. We're seeing very heavy rainfall rates tonight, and this is just the beginning. We're going to continue to see lots of rainfall, not only into overnight tonight, but into Thursday and parts of Friday as this frontal system taps into some of that tropical moisture just off the coast and to the south. Now, once again, let's take another look at that tornado warning as we see it continuing to move off towards the north and east. We're going to be looking at this through the next few minutes to keep an eye on whether or not it'll hold that rotation. This warning goes for another 15 minutes until 9 o'clock. And of course, it's got some pretty strong outbound winds. The inbound's not looking as strong as it was, but still enough to be considered some rotation. Whenever you see the red right next to the green, that's going to be where the center of that rotation is. And of course, this time around, it looks a little broader, not as tight, which is great news, but we're still going to be keeping a close eye on this regardless. Right now, that tornado warning does not extend into Hinton, but keep a close eye on this. We're going to keep you guys updated over the next several minutes. Tim, I'll send things back over to you.
All right, thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, it's been a pretty active day today in terms of tornado warnings here in parts of our viewing area. It all started back across towards the northeastern side of Summers County and to the southwestern side of Greenbrier County, and that rotation tracked to the north and the east. In fact, I've been seeing a couple of viewer photos here of maybe it's spinning some of the clouds and even a funnel cloud over towards Pocahontas County, just to around the Hillsborough area. So it looks like we could possibly have a confirmed tornado here. Of course, the National Weather Service in Charleston will keep an eye on that situation here. But of course, let's go back to the storm here over towards northeastern Mercer County here. Again, we still got some good outbound winds here. You can see our velocity data right now, but the inbound winds are starting to lighten up just a bit here, but still got that very weak rod rotation here. And as this continues to move to the north and east, so we got about another 14 minutes here of this tornado warning. Again, this tornado will go into effect until 9 p.m. here. But of course, as meteorologist Jeffrey Hull said, there's another rotation that we're keeping an eye on over towards Bland County. Again, this is where that current tornado warning is originated from, because it originated from the north central Bland County, where it started to kind of rotate just a little bit. It got that change in the winds, and as it crossed over into the West Virginia state line, that's when the warning was triggered for possible tornado here. Now, right now, it's just a rotating a broad circulation right now, just to the west of I-77, to the southwest of Rocky Gap. But you can see it's about to cross over Highway 61 over there in Virginia as it continues to move to the north and the east, possibly even closer to, generally in the same direction as that first tornado warning system here. So that's the thing we'll keep an eye on for the area here. But of course, we'll go back to this area here, northeastern Mercer County. This is the rotation is really close to the county line here of Summers County now. So if you're in Gardner, East Mills, Speedway, Athens, you're in the clear in terms of seeing the possible rotation move through your area, but you're still going to be inundated with some heavy rain, some heavy downpour. So don't let your guard down just because the rotation moved out of your area, because we still could be dealing with some flash flooding, because we've been seeing some high water rise pretty quickly with heavy rainfall rates around the region here. Again, It is about 8:48 right now, and we are continuing to track this weak rotation that's slowly exiting out of Mercer County, about to enter into Summers County. Waiting to see if the National Weather Service will continue this warning or not, because this rotation looks fairly weak as it continues to move out of Mercer County. But of course, something we'll keep an eye on here, and we still got about another 12 minutes before this warning will be allowed to expire. It looks like we just got a new flash flood warning here for parts of Tazewell County. And I'm going to go in Bland County as well. So I'm going to zoom into that, see if we can find that one here, right in this area here. Let's see, yeah, this area here, you can see why we have that flash flood warning here. This is for really most of Tazewell County, the extreme western section of Bland County, but this is primarily Tazewell County in our viewing area. You can see why. Look at all the yellow, the oranges. That is some heavy downpours right now, really over along US 460, US 19. You're seeing some of those heavy rainfall right now here. I mean, we could possibly see rainfall rates about an inch an hour or so, or even a little bit more here as it continues to move to the north and east. So this rain is not over within the next hour or so, because we will continue to see more of that heavier rain move through the area for the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours as well. So the bigger concern really for the rest of the evening and overnight hours will be flash flooding here. Now, of course, we'll go back to the tornado warning storm here over towards northeastern Mercer and southwestern Summers. Again, I think this is more likely the southwestern Summers now, because a lot of that rotation is starting to exit out of Mercer County, right, Jeff?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Tim. It's actually right along the border of parts of Summers County, continuing to move northward out of the Mercer County area. That's going to be just west of Route 20. If you're in parts of Quinns, that's going to, Duns, I should say, that's going to be right off towards your east. Now, Suck Creek, you guys are going to be in the path of this system as it continues to track up towards the north and northeast. While this tornado warning continues for the next 10 minutes until 9 o'clock, we'll see this potentially get extended if it holds on to that rotation. Now, it does look to be weakening just a little bit, but National Weather Service may, out of an abundance of caution, still continue to keep an eye on this as it moves off towards the north and east. But it's a good sign that this rotation has started to weaken, especially after it started here in parts of Mercer County, which we haven't had any confirmation yet of any actual touchdown from this system. But of course, with a system like this, you've got damaging winds regardless of whether you actually have a tornado on the ground, which can be, of course, devastating if it's tossing debris into people's houses. And of course, not to mention the downpours that we've seen with this system so far, causing flooding all across our area. Now, as we take a look down towards the southwest, I just want to get a quick update on that Bland County storm, if you don't mind, Tim. We're still looking at a little bit of weak rotation from this system, the green inbound and red outbound winds. Now, we do have a little bit of outbound wind sort of fighting against the inbound winds, which doesn't necessarily mean that we're seeing a good rotation signature, because whenever you have a system like this and you take the radar beam, you want a clear cut in between the inbound and outbound winds. Whenever you have something like this, that kind of inhibits that just a little bit, sort of the instability and the inflow. Now, if we take a look at the precipitation, I just want to get a quick look at this precipitation-wise, Tim, if you don't mind, on the radar, just to get an idea of what we're looking at as far as the actual radar signature goes. So yeah, you can see sort of this inflow right here, sort of that V shape. That's a lot of wind moving into this system, sort of entraining it. If it were to curve just a little bit, we would have some better rotation, but right now it looks like some of that wind is blocking. Looks like we have a new tornado warning just off towards that southwest there, Tim. That's going to be from another system that we were keeping an eye on. Looks to be outside of our area right now, but that's going to be in parts of Wythe County towards the west near Rural Retreat. As this system moves off towards the north, once again, we are keeping an eye on this newly warned tornado storm. Tim, I'm going to let you update them on that.
Yeah, so this is a new tornado warning here. It looks like this includes parts of northeastern Smith County, just outside of our viewing area, southeastern Tazewell County, southwestern Bland County, and northwestern Wythe County, and this will go into effect until 9:30 p.m. And again, a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado located near Atkins or Mount Rogers National Recreational Area, moving to the north at 30 miles per hour. Again, this is radar indicated. Again, there's Atkins, Again, there's the heavy rainfall around the area. Let me see if we can see it on a velocity data signature of this storm. Actually, this is still the old storm, which will expire in 7 minutes. So the Summers County and the northeastern Mercer County storm will expire at 9 p.m. as of right now. So that storm looks to continue to be weakening. But I'm going to go to the south. Wow, look at this one. This one, the rotation is actually over in Smith County, which is outside of our viewing area, but it's continuing to move to the north and east. So it may clip northwestern Wythe County, and eventually, if it continues to move to the north and east, it will be headed towards western Bland County and also maybe eastern section of Tazewell County. But you can see right where that rotation is, just to the south of I-81 and just to the southeast of Atkins. That's where we're seeing that rotation. Remember, the red is going towards the radar site, the green is going away from the radar site, and that's where we have that circular rotation. That's what we're seeing right now here in terms of eastern Smith County, which is why this was warned for the eastern section of Smith County, the northwestern section of Wythe County here. So let's take a look at this here. And now let me put a storm track on this storm here. Again, this one goes in effect till 9:30 p.m. Now the storm track does show that it's moving generally around 30 miles per hour to the northeast. So let's zoom out just a little bit here. I'm going to zoom out so you have an idea of where this is going and where the warning is. And we'll put a storm track on it to let you guys know what is going on. Let's see. Here we go. And there's a new radar scan. So we still got some broad rotation, but generally moving to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. So we'll put a little over 30 miles per hour. The general vicinity here is Ethna right around 934, Bastien at 954 if this rotation holds together. And again, if it does hold together, it'll be in the Bluefield area again by 10:08 p.m. So maybe the top of the newscast for the 10 o'clock show. But right now here, that's what it looks like right now. Hopefully we lose that circulation by the time it gets towards our area. But of course, you can never let your guard down here because these storms, they want to spin up when they want to spin up, despite if the atmosphere is saying that it doesn't look like we're going to see widespread storms. Well, all it takes is one storm to spin up, and all of a sudden we start to see storm trying to get together here. So that's what we've been keeping an eye on here. Again, if you're just joining us here, we have been tracking some tornado warnings across the area. The one over towards northeastern Mercer County and southwestern Summers County will expire in a few minutes here at 9 p.m. But we have a new warning now that includes parts of our viewing area, northwestern Wythe County, western Tazewell County, and also the southeastern Tazewell County and western Bland County, and that will go in effect on 9:30 p.m. So another rotation to track here as we progress through the rest of the evening hours. It's been an active day today here. Lots of rain. I mean, despite if we weren't talking about the rotation of these storms, we'd be talking about the flash flooding that's been really hitting our area very hard. So this rotation is still a good signature right now, showing up right along I-81 right now, and this will continue to move to the north and east. I'm going to toss it back to meteorologist Jeffrey Houle. He has another update about this storm.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. So this system moving out of parts of Wythe and Smith counties goes on for about another 30 minutes or so until 9:30. This system, capable of producing a tornado, was located near Atkins, and it's going to continue to move off towards the north and east. That's going to be just west of Rural Retreat along I-81. So make sure, if you are in the path of the system, once again, to head to your safe spot. We've got a pretty good looking rotation signature from this. Very clear shot of it as well. Not a whole lot of mountains to get in the way of this. So you have the red right next to the green, and this is pretty nice looking rotation, unfortunately. You've got the red outbound winds and the green inbound winds. Whenever you have those two right beside each other like that, that's going to cause a little bit of spin in between them. Right now, this is crossing just over I-81, just east of Atkins, between between Rural Retreat and Adkins. And it's going to continue to move off towards the north at a rate of about 30 miles per hour. And we're going to get an idea of where exactly that's going to be. You can see that warning box extending all the way into parts of Wythe and Bland County, and even parts of southern Mercer as well, I believe. And it'll continue to trek off towards the north. Let's get an idea of where it's going. Saris, you guys are going to be seeing that possibly at 9:22. So in about 20 minutes or so, make sure to get into your safe spot. And don't wait until you hear it either. Make sure to keep yourself safe, because this is a pretty good looking rotation signature, even though we don't have any on the ground confirmation. Now, Athena, you guys are up next. Ethna, you got about 9:33 on that. If this system continues the track that it's going, you guys are going to be seeing that as well. Now, let's get a quick update, Tim, on the one in parts of Summers County, just to get an idea of what's going on with that system. We still have that tornado warning going on, but that rotation, compared to the one that we were just looking at, thankfully does not look as strong. Still have some good outbound winds just southeast of parts of Suck Creek, between Suck Creek and Farley, along Route 20. That's going to be just south of Hinton. Thankfully, this rotation doesn't look to be holding as strongly as it was, so fingers crossed this will be allowed to expire over the next several minutes. And then the main focus is going to be that one down in parts of Wythe County. Now, once again, we're looking at lots of heavy rainfall and some damaging winds, regardless of whether or not these tornado-warned storms continue. Now, getting a quick update on this one, still just west of Wythe and Bland County as we see that moving in. It's going to be into parts of southern Tazewell County. That's the one, not Mercer County. My apologies. As that continues to pass right over about I-81 right now, it's going to continue to move off towards the north. Saris, you guys are going to be in the path of this possible tornado. Once again, radar indicated rotation.